Distinguished guests, honorable speakers, for this session, we're going to do things a little bit different. Unlike the previous one, where we invited a few speakers to share their vision, their ideas and thoughts. But this time, we only have one person, but a strong figure with a high dedication for the environment. So our special guest has a wealth and expertise on climate change and is widely respected and admired across government, non-government, as well as the private sectors. A visionary in the field and renowned for his leadership in promoting sustainable practices and a positive change for the environment. Let's welcome our eminent actor, the president of UNFCCC COP13 Bali, Professor Rachmat Witoelar. And to accompany Prof. Rachmat, silakan Pak, we kindly invite the famous Papam. Silakan Pak.
Oke. Ntar saya antar, iya langsung di situ. Oke, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Indonesian Pavilion. We will not have a discussion, but we have a stadium general. Because the only famous one person will be talking what we call him His Excellency, because he is former ambassador in Moscow and also my senior mentor. So I should bring His Excellency Pak Rachmat, and then please, you can do whatever you want. You can tell whatever you want, and the time is yours, Pak.
Okay, thank you, Bagus, and distinguished guests, excellencies, friends, sons, daughters, and granddaughters. I am very happy to be here, and thank you for the opportunity, in particular to Pak Agus, Pak Sihol, all the eminent persons here who have given me the opportunity to speak out. I was introduced by he could be my grandson, another Agus, to talk about things pertaining to climate change. What I can bring to you is the history of the climate change efforts, and of course, what I bring, because I've been there for some time. Some of you have seen me for so long, maybe they get bored of looking at me. I've attended around 24 COPs, so I think it's proper that I convey some of my experience to you. I see a lot of young people here, and I hope that you will do whatever I've not done, which is do good, and please prevent the mistakes that my generation has done. So the title of this talk is Negotiations towards a better COP negotiations. Why is it called like that? Because to tell you the truth, having been through 24 COPs and chaired one of them, it's COP13 in Bali, after 15 years after that, I have plodded on and followed all the COPs until this COP 28, and I'm a bit disappointed that we don't make much headway. Part of it is my own mistake because I don't try harder. So I want to ask you help to use my experience to employ better tactics. So first of all, I want to do it in three parts. First of all, everybody here is, of course, is familiar with the phenomenon of climate change. So I will start to have on the same platform, I will talk about what the climate change is. After that, and what the mistakes we have done. And after that, maybe I would suggest that the future COPs, which the younger sets here will lead, do better so not to repeat our mistakes. We are very sad, or I am very sad anyway, that we haven't gotten much more than we have now. Although, judging from what he has done. We have agrarians. We have heard our minister, and we have heard the others one, a lot of big headways into rectifying the mistakes that was done before that. I have been in office in 2004 till 2009, and after that, I've become concentrated to the climate change efforts as a presidential envoy for 10 years. And I should have stopped doing that. But people in Indonesia consider me arwah. arwah. I'm not. Hello, Brandon. Hi, nice to see you. So I'm still under. I've been pensioned off 4 times, which is quite a test. But still, I can share with you the problems in fighting climate change. Sorry to say that after I led the Bali COP, that was around 50 years ago until now, the same problem is still there, which is the ignorance of the people at large. Whilst climate change is everybody's business, because it is the culprit is everybody. It is everybody, so everybody has to be on board. The COPs proceeding from the 207 until the 21, there is still use the same mistakes, which is going top-down approach, which is a blunder for all of us. It should be a top-down approach. It should be a bottom-up, because COP is not like a government. Everybody is connected, and everybody is a culprit at the same time. So, top-down approach is understood that the ones who hold the power at that time can decree what to do, whilst they don't really know what to do. So that is all the decisions cannot be executed because they have to be executed by people who are not involved in that. So the first phenomena is how to do a better COP is to make a top-down, bottom-up approach, so everybody is involved. The second one is that it is not only the governments or the authorities tasked to do so. In fact, it is more to be done by as NGOs, the private sector, academia, to collect with it. But the UNFCCC does not accommodate such actions. So that's why we see this familiar graph that familiar to us, that is since 1880 until today, it keeps creeping up, it is jumping down. So it is a very dangerous position that we are in. We have to really make sure that we change our methods. That is why I'm called by my friends to join them to inform all the people who are in charge to do things otherwise. This is a chart that is too technical to be explained here, but another one. Yeah. We are not in a good shape today because the global temperature changes. It is a countdown into disaster. It starts from 1980, the 80s, and now it is close to 1.5%. So it's just a warning to all of us that we don't have much time. This goes on, and is almost nearing 1.5%, 1.5 degree. And if we don't do anything drastic, we will be going in the abyss. Okay, next. This is also a familiar picture for all of us. This is something to warn us what will happen if things happen. So it is not the victim of climate change is not man. It is biodiversity. This illustrates that the first is the species that will be insect is from the higher ground and goes into the lower ground. To talk about this, we have experts here, including my dear friend Payatna. He knows more about this. The point is, man is nowhere to be seen because we are not the real victims. The victims is the biodiversity, which holds which is populated in the general area of the earth, in the forests, in the cities. And you just heard yesterday that the initiative done by people who control forests is very crucial. That is why the previous speakers today, including also Sihol here, is very potent savers of the earth. If they really do whatever they preach, it is done. So it is not man that is the victim, the primary victim. It is the biodiversity. Because man is only a small part of all this. We are only 6, 7 billion people. We have 50, 100 people differences, and everything depends on this. Above the seas, in the water, and under the water. So this is what we have to concentrate on. Next. Okay. I'm sorry to portray this picture, but it is a thematic map of the earth. Who is the champion of the greenhouse gases emissions? In Indonesia, it's siapa yang paling banyak kentut? The ones who are the real culprits are the ones in red. We are happy but not proud to be we are here in the green zone. It depends on the people, the actions of people, and the other factors that decide that where this map will be. So before the yellow, the blue color changes into the red ones, we should harvest them. So it could be amongst us. But then I want to remind you again that climate change is everybody's business, so everyone has to be together. We are not going to blame anyone, but that is why, to overcome this, we have to negotiate. That is what the theme of this talk is: how to better fight climate change and how to negotiate better. And that is a picture that is thematic with the developed countries and the developing countries. I would like to have a profound observation, maybe not very polite, but I see that the smarter you get, the more stupid you become. You better stay stupid, then you become smart. The smartest people is there in the red zone, see? America, Europe. The stupid people are down here. And we are smart because we don't pollute as much. But again, they do everything. They try to pollute and to destroy the world. And that is, we have to fight against it. I have an example, okay. Here. These are smart people. They do stupid things. Throw bombs and throw missiles. Everybody is trying to pick up trash so we don't pollute. carbon, just just a small figure. The results of this enterprise is very bad because the 2 year, says here, the Ukraine war has resulted in 33 million tons, as compared with the 2 year war, is 60 million tons. That's why I mean, the smarter you get, the problem you get, the stupider you get. I would suggest maybe if people are, why don't they wage war by bow and arrow so nobody, we don't get infected? Well, they can kill each other, it's up to them, but don't kill us by their emissions. So that's just a joke, actually. I'm not going to say it in public. Okay, next. So the key is try to negotiate. The people who are in power and who can make a difference should involve and talk to people who are. This is an example. During that time, that the Danish Prime Minister and Poland's Minister was in the COP7 we were together, and we tried to negotiate with each other. And negotiating needs an element of trust. So we have to have an element of trust for each other. See how they smile. If they get mad at each other, they just fight on. So we know that we are trying to save the world together because we are both, everybody is a victim of that. And this is, and that results in a common, in the common effort that we can I have the next one? Yeah, this is one of the proudest moments of Indonesia in terms of script is the Bali roadmap. We were there. I think you are there all the time. Almost everybody was there. Brandon was there, right? So during that time, we managed to talk to each other. Maybe it is a matter of personalities during the time, because the countries are still the same. I was there, and I remember the very hot points between the India and China against the Americans. So we have to talk to each other. We have to negotiate with each other. What does negotiating means? Negotiating means trying to put yourself in somebody's shoes, try to understand other people's position, so we can take that position and work towards that. This is, as of today, I see people only competing. Okay, next. This is in Bali. And following that, okay. So there are three major points, which is from Kyoto, we go to Bali, 205, and from Bali to Paris. All of them have very major milestones. In Kyoto, like you know, it is realized that the developing nations need assistance, and it's given by the developed nations. We have this gentleman who is an interlocutor there, and I am quite honored by being an instrument in trying them to get together. And that brings us to Paris, where in Paris, the real fight begins. That is, everybody must be on board. Everybody. That is, everybody's business, everybody is a victim. But if we don't work with together, everybody will be a victim. So this thing. From 2015 until now, still a fight. And we hope that here, at this COP, the stock taking will yield another milestone that we can really use for next. So this is some money. I mean, I hope we can get at it. There's a promise of $100 billion to be distributed to the people, to the countries, or vis-a-vis the people, to fight climate change. But after 40 years of negotiating, the developed countries failed to meet their commitments, only part of them. I was personally present in some of the negotiations and always disappointed, but never I gave up. That is why I'm still standing here. Otherwise, I would just go and watch TV or do something else. But I'm still standing because I hope that at one moment, this promise will become true. Just a few years ago, our president has said so, and elsewhere, we're still hoping to do so. This 100 billion is not much if you consider what they threw away in the war. So this is what? Okay, next. So to be Indonesia, I'm proud to be that Indonesia has been triggering and inspiring the world through to our officers and to people like Pasi Hall and the others who do contribute to the effort to overcome the climate crisis. The Indonesian Ministry of Forestry has been working in 4 thematic areas. You heard it before. New renewable energy, finance, technology, mitigation, adaptation, and collaborative action. If we follow this, I think we have a light in the tunnel. But we need to lead by example. There's only talk. Others, this COP will again join the ranks of only talk, no action. It has to be. Indonesia did have, so we are trying to do so at the Mangrove Center and all these things. I just appeal that my successors, or my sons and daughters, they continue doing this with the assistance the more developed countries, like enlightened people like Brendan here. He always preaches the same thing. So that's, we could lead by examples, because it is very cheap to talk, but very hard to make an example. Okay. Next. So I want to summarize that climate diplomacy is to encourage understanding that climate change solutions require a concrete bottom-up approach that will complement the top-down approach, because it is not, if you only know top-down, then nobody leaves. Second is that diplomatic strategy is to improve the COP negotiations by involving non-state actors. Yesterday, I had a session here that was also mentioned by those here, that the non-state actors, not only governments, but also academics, CSOs, private sector, former post-presidents, they get together and have a concerted effort to do so. And the last one is to have more closer cooperation between regions, because climate change is not divided by boundaries. It is a whole total. Okay, next. Yes. So this is just a cartoon. Everybody is making excuses for not contributing, for not helping. This looks like something that is very our COP 22, 23, 24, 25, or here we are COP 28. Let us not repeat all this, because we have endured this, but we should. This is of some of my friends. See, we are doing pocho. We look as if we're moving, but we're going back, move and back, move and back. So it's pocho. Let's not do this. We have to move somewhere else. Okay, next. looking back and moving forward. The UNFCCC negotiations have been going on for more than a quarter of a century. There's no security involvement. So we suggest that there should an independent and permanent climate change body to take care of climate change. Not only an annual meeting like this, where after everybody is here for 2 weeks, everybody forgets about it. There should be somebody, UNFCCC under the auspices of the UN. And this process should be led by concrete examples. Okay, thanks. Okay. So just because we cannot have an in-depth discussion here, I invite you tomorrow to attend a COP Zoom meeting. Or you can attend, you personally. The three of us, moderated by Professor Yatta, will be here upstairs talking about this, but also Zoom. This Zoom will be distributed throughout the world. And this is our third Zoom. Presidents of COP, of former COPs are part of this. Tubiana and myself and everyone was there. Brendan has been there twice. Connie Hidegard, we were there. And tomorrow we have a 1 hour and 1 hour and a half hour session where you can talk. You cannot really talk with me like this because I don't have the expertise. They have the expertise. We'll have De Hong. We have De Hong who will outline the Indonesian case. We will have the angry man, Jeffrey Sachs. I hope to mediate. And we have the wise person, Yatta, moderating. That's for tomorrow. As of today, I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, Prof. Rachmat. So, yeah, so we're talking about the UNF, the CCC is only talking and negotiating. So we need to have a program. We have to have a real program that can be cooperation among each other. So I open the discussion with His Excellency to whatever you want to. Ini Pak. Di sini ada di kursi. Di kursi ada. Okay. So is there any comment, questions that we can share together? Uh-oh. Is there any? Pak Joel, could you please help on the mic? All right, thank you.
Yeah, Prof. Rachmat, thank you. It's very inspiring. You attended no less than 34 COPs. Okay, now, could you please elaborate or how you see the participation of the private sector from one COP to another? I mean, compare the current COP with the COP 15 years ago, for instance. Are you seeing a trend where sustainability, nature has become the narrative shared by private sector as well? Not only by transnational organization or by government or by civil society organizations, but by private sector, the business sector. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Pascal. Pascal represents the party that I mentioned should be heard. You everywhere was around 20 years ago, but was not really heard because the agenda of the COPs is decided by a small group of government officials. At that time, it was me, so I plead guilty. I should have invited you more. But after that, after I stepped down and pursued the presidential envoy for climate change, I insisted that there should be a pre-COP where the agendas for the COP proper is attended and listened to by the persons like I mentioned, which are CSOs, academics, lay people, youth. They have on the agenda. 3 months or 4 months before the COP. Not now, when a lot of people, I heard there's 50,000 people here. What do we do, 50,000 people? Or maybe 80. It should be decided a few months ago. If that happens, then Connie Hildegard was insisting there should be not one COP, there should be several COPs, 2 COPs a year, thematic. And Brandon also in the previous COP has also has opinions. I think you should outline what you think about how COP should be done. So we have to have a structure. But the major thing that I think is there's the ignorance and then the lack of empathy of people in the governments on other people that will destroy all the effort to get the climate change, the empathy of that. That we cannot regulate that. It is just, you have 100 Greta Thunberg who, to try to persuade them to realize. But I tried to do my bit of contribution. Empathy to the world, empathy to other people. The worst empathy, the worst case is wars. Wars are really not empathy. They try to destroy people, and destroy people. There's not empathy. Even worse, they destroy by emitting carbon dioxide. That is even worse. So those are the things. But talking about the CSOs, I think you and your friends are doing well. So we just have to accommodate. That is why tomorrow there's a forum where previous past COP presidents like me will collect and talk about this, and to formulate what to do. And I realized it is not a one-year program. We were aiming for a 3-year program, COP 28, 29, 30, and 31. Hopefully, 21 will be the responsibility of Brandon in Australia. Let's prepare for that. Well, God willing, I'm still around at that time. You are still around. It can't be done in a year or 2 years, 3 years. But then you start doing things, and not repeating the mistakes that I've done. So I beg your forgiveness. Please don't replicate what I did.
Thank you, Her Excellency. So I think Prof. Rachmat is only one that public participation and private participation should be having a meeting before, we call it pre-COP or something, and then after COP. But the problem, Prof, is the funding. Who's going to fund these things? But anyway, I just let the audience any more questions or sharing, whatever.
I think I would like the assistance of Brandon to answer the question aimed at me. How shall we do it, Brandon? Oh, there.
Okay, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the session. My name is Kasturi, and I'm from a project developer of carbon finance programs. So just building off of Sir's question on the private sector, my question is, how would you envisage the carbon market, especially the voluntary carbon market, for nature-based solutions in association with the Indonesian government, especially for mangrove ecosystems? That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you. That opens a topic that actually I forgot to mention. To do things, starting from a child of 2 years, 3 years, there's a technical carrot and stick. You give somebody some sweets, so they follow you. Otherwise, you hit them. This carrot and stick in the international, in this context, is the carbon trade. If you follow the rules of the carbon trade, which is prescribed by the UNFCCC, which is not quite complete, then you will be good. Otherwise, you will. So that is, we have to wait until every country is online, because not every country has a proper carbon trade law which is working at this time, including Indonesia. So we have to work towards that. And I repeat again that we have to prepare this around 3-4 months before the next COP, which I understand will be in Chile. I don't know, Checo. Will be in Checo. So, please, the CSOs, academics, please be ready to talk and insist on what to say in Czechoslovakia, even starting in March. Not close to that, just in the middle of the year. Okay, that's to be more. You can join our Zoom tomorrow, just at 10 o'clock. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear the insights from your many decades of experience working in the climate COPs. And I was looking at the map on the logo here, and it just reminded me of something I heard you say at previous dialogues about, as part of this bottom-up process of complementing the big global meetings with regional negotiations and regional dialogues. And looking at that map, you can see that Indonesia is actually, it's a good example of it. Is geographic, for many reasons, it's well placed to be at the centre of a regional dialogue. It's got many of the elements you talked about. A lot of the, it's a nexus of trade. It's a nexus of regional diplomacy, etc. So I just wondered if you could talk about that a bit more. This idea of, could we have, in addition to one big COP that might become it could become, for example, a biennial event, and in the preceding 2 years we have these series of regional negotiations and dialogues going on that are more bottom up, that are focused on interactions at that regional scale.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brandon. Actually, I was hoping that we talk about it tomorrow. Well, Connie will be there, and you will be there, and Ivo de Boer will be there. At this moment, I think it's a general idea, but that a one single COP talking about everything with 80,000 people at one time, I don't think anybody can hear anyone else. So, just in a negative sense, I think a COP like this is not so good. I remember that also the instigator of this big COP was Indonesia, because before COP 13 in Indonesia, COPs were only held by governments and only 200-300 people, 500 people. All of a sudden, we in Indonesia, we were visited by 12,000 people. That is not all. The next in Poland is 30,000 people. And then in Copenhagen, 40,000 people, all in the freezing atmosphere. And in Paris also. And now I heard that there's 80 people, 80,000. I don't know where everybody is and what they're doing. But I think the idea that you heard yourself, that Connie Connie Hedegaard, the COP president of Denmark, suggesting let's have a thematic COP every so many years, and we talk about that in a professional way. Maybe that will, maybe decide tomorrow. Brendan, thank you for the question.
I have a 5 minute left. Is there any? What's happened? Is there any question? More question? Okay. Yeah, maybe it's the last question for this session. Okay.
It's okay. The presentation was very interesting. I came from Africa, Burkina Faso. I noticed that Africa is no way responsible for pollution as presented. So but Africa is suffering from this air pollution. So what can Indonesia do for climate change, more especially for Africa? Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up the subject. I did mention it, that because of the Bali roadmap and the Paris Accord, the developed nations should really contribute more to the countries that need. In particular, those developing countries, where we have in Africa and Burkina Faso. So I appeal again to the developed countries to honor their commitment to give the assistance to countries that are needed to fight climate change. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Prof. Rachmat Witoelar. So I think, because I get a sign from out there, so I have to close this Stadium General.
Please join the Zoom tomorrow. You can ask questions of a lot of people. Yes, you can do it from anywhere. Yeah?
Okay, please join the Zoom for tomorrow at what time, Prof?
10 o'clock.
Oh, 10 o'clock. All right, so thank you for your coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.